Discovering Tut. The saga continues. Tutankhamun died 3,300 years ago. His mummy had been the most famous mummy. Tutankhamun was 11th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. His tomb was completely intact with almost all the information. He was a teenage heir to the royal throne of Egypt. Lots of information about him was not complete till this day. He was the pharaoh who had been very famous and the oldest one about whom we know almost everything.
This is a lot of work to put on. They come in the morning and they address you, and it's kind of like how I imagine it would be to be a pharaoh, and it's kind of how it would be for Tutankhamun in the morning, I would imagine.
You really become the character once you're in the clothing. It's unbelievable. It really takes you where you need to go.
You put all this stuff on and you become a completely different person.
I have been so interested in all my life about Egypt. And my dream from when I was a kid, it was to do an Egyptian film. The most important thing for me is to know everything, of course, about the shape, about the fabrics, about the colors. And after that, I start to make drawings. To represent that period, you have to use the real fabric. That means they're linen, so we are trying to stay in natural fabric as much as we can.
The Egyptians believed in the purity of linen, and flax grew well in ancient Egypt, and so they cultivated that flax and made it into linen cloth. And the linen cloth could be of the highest thread count imaginable. It could be soft and gauzy, could be pleated.
This is all hand-pleated silk.
In 1920, a British archaeologist discovered the tomb of Tut. As he was British, he didn't believe in Egyptian and their philosophy or beliefs. He went near the tomb. The rumor of the king's curse, he thought, was said for scaring away the thieves. Taking away Tut's body was not easy, as he had to break 3 gold coffins. His body was dried hard and stuck to the coffin as though they were hardened. Carter could not think of leaving the body with the fear of thieves, and so decided to cut Tut's body into pieces. He was more interested in the wealth.
The expertise found out that Tutankhamun died on the age of 19. And number 2, he was very healthy. He was well fed. He had no diseases at all. Number 3, we have to decide they did examine all the theories that has been said about Tutankhamun. Number 1, they found no evidence for a blow to the back of the head, because that is the area that many people said that he was murdered because of this. This is not true. The second important thing, there is no indication of a foul play at all. And number 3, they said that he was crushed on his chest. This is not true. He was not crushed from a chariot on his chest.
After some years, probably after Carter's death, a doctor performed an experiment and found out that front rib bones and chest bones were missing from his reassembled body. On 5th of January 2005, the body was CT scanned. That could answer 2 questions: how did he die? And how old was he at the time of his death? Tut's Mummy was one of the first movies to be scanned in Data is in Life. The whole process of CT scan took almost 3 hours. Nothing was serious and Tut's body again rested. Important points of the lesson. Tut was just a teenager when he died. He was the last heir of a powerful dynasty. Tut's tomb was discovered in 1922. There was a big mystery surrounding his death. An emperor dying so young? 5th of January 2005. Tut's body was excavated for a CT scan to find answers to baffling questions. Angry winds blew as King Tut's body was taken out of the burial place. Purpose of CT scan was to find answer and the mysteries surrounding young king's death of more than 3,300 years ago. Tourists had arrived from all over the world to get a glimpse of the tomb and to pay their respects. Some felt disturbed to think of the prophesy, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him. Mummy was in a very bad condition. Mummy had been found with most of the buried treasures still intact in 1922. Some of the resins had hardened. Body had to be cut into many pieces to remove the priceless jewelry. Tut had been buried with all things he would need in afterlife, including board games, bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and justification of cutting up body parts. Thieves would have stolen the precious belongings. To separate Tut from his adornments, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and had to sever all major joints. 40 years after Carter's discovery, UNSRA report revealed the breastbone and the front ribs of King Tut missing. Two gaping questions concerning his death were: I. How did he die? 2. How old was he at the time of death? Tut was an important king, the last of a dynasty. This funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh, ruled for almost 40 years. His son Amenhotep IV created a religious controversy and confusion and almost the scene of a civil war. Then came young King Tutankhamun, who reigned for almost 9 years and then died unexpectedly. King Tut's mummy was the first one to be subjected to the thorough probe of a CT scan. The body was taken out for scanning. All went well except for the minor malfunctioning of a fan. In less than 3 hours, Tut's body again rested in its original place. Hawass, the man in charge of all antiquities of Egypt, breathed a sigh of relief at the happy conclusion.
شكله صغير. ها؟ لا والله. اهي بص البتاع اللي في الارض ده. لا سفنجة زي مرتبة كده. في مرتبة. هتاخد الكتف بتاع الترابيزة. لا مش هتاخد. لانه خفيف وهو برضه خفيف. إذا هتجيبه بالراحة كله. مين قال لك كده؟ ده هو من هنا هو هيجي. هتيجي بالراحة.